collection of books all about giving back and helping others out. And make sure you stay tuned to the end because I might be giving some of them away, and I'll explain how at the end of the video. But I think this is an important topic, especially now, to be discussing with kids. We go from November when we're talking about being thankful, right into December when all of that holiday activity starts revving up and kids might be getting presents and doing lots of fun activities. But I think it's important for them to kind of take a step back and think about how they can help others, whether it's something small on a daily basis or something bigger that they can help out with in their community. So all of these books will be great discussion starters for your class about what they can do as individuals or what you could do as a class to help out the community around you. So if you're interested in checking out these books, what I'd like you to do first is give this video a thumbs up and hit that red subscribe button down below, and we'll get started. This first book that I have, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned on this channel before, but this one is Last Stop on Market Street. And in this story, CJ and his grandma are leaving church and they're getting on a bus, and CJ's kind of noticing that he doesn't have a car like his friends. They all have cars, but he and his grandma have to take the bus. And then once he gets on the bus, he sees some kids listening to like an iPod or some type of musical device, and he's saying, well, why don't I have one of those? His grandma starts to point out the wonder of the things around him, that if they had a car, they wouldn't get to sit with all these wonderful, unique people on the bus. If he had those headphones on, he wouldn't hear the person playing live music right next to him. And as they start to get to know all these people, at the end of their bus ride, CJ and his grandma get off at a soup kitchen where they help serve meals to others. And I think this is a good reminder that even though you might not have as much as somebody else, you still have more than another person. And that when you have more, it's important to give back and to help those that are less fortunate than you. Such a powerful story, and one that has many discussion points that you can use in your class about giving back and helping others. And while in the story it's kind of a bigger thing that they're doing, they're going to that soup kitchen, that might not be something that's accessible for your students. You can talk about in your class about starting a canned food drive. Or in this next book talks about more simple things that they can do to help others out. This one is Amos McGee Misses the Bus. And if you've read of Amos McGee before, you know what a sweet, wonderful old man he is and how he works at the zoo. One night he stays up so late thinking about how he's going to plan a special day for his friends at the zoo that in the morning he falls asleep at the breakfast table and misses the bus. As he's trying to catch the bus, he loses his hat and some of his other possessions on his way to the zoo. When he gets there, his friends realize that he's tired and he's sad that he's missing his favorite hat. So his friends help him out. He sits on the bench and gets a rest, and his friends help him with his zoo chores. They help clean up, they make sure nobody wakes him up, they feed the other animals, and the tortoise goes on a walk and comes back with Amos McGee's favorite hat. This would be a good discussion with your class about how helping others out when they are sad or when they are tired is something simple that they can do every day. When they see that their friend is having a hard day, they can reach out and do something small for them. Another great book to talk about giving back or helping others. This next book that I have is almost a wordless picture book. It has very few words, and the pictures really tell the story in this one. This is called How to Heal a Broken Wing. In this story, a bird crashes and falls to the ground in a busy city, and everybody is moving as fast as they can that they don't notice this little bird laying on the ground until one little boy does, and he steps down to help take care of this animal. He picks it up, he brings it home, and with his family he nurses it back to health and eventually sets it free now that it is completely healed. And it's probably important to point out to your class that they shouldn't be touching wild animals, especially ones that are injured, but that they should get help from somebody who can help the animal in a safe way. It's a great story to talk about how not only do we help people, but we help animals, especially when they are injured or hurt. And this will really build that empathy with your students. So even though they're not going to go out and nurse a bird back to health, it will build that empathy and help them understand how the bird feels when it's hurt and alone, when it's being taken care of, and when it finally has the confidence to go free. Another book that I have that you can read with your students about helping others or giving back is Ordinary Mary's Extraordinary Deed. In this book, Ordinary Mary is just that, an ordinary young girl who goes to an ordinary school in an ordinary neighborhood and happens to stumble upon some ordinary blueberry bushes. She picks them and delivers them to a neighbor. Well, this simple act starts a chain reaction. The neighbor is so happy that they do good deeds for other people. And then those people do good deeds for others. And it carries on and on and on. And it talks about how so many people are affected by this one young girl's simple action. Again, this is another great way to talk with students about how those small actions can make such a big difference in 1 or 5 or even 10 people's lives as a result. And in this story, it talks a lot about buying things for other people. And I think you can talk with your students how good deeds don't have to be about spending money. How helping others, giving back, doesn't have to be about the money. It can be about the actions or the time that they give or the small things they do, like making a card for somebody or writing someone a letter or cheering them up on a bad day. So I think that's an important discussion to have while reading this book, is that we can do those good deeds even if we don't have money to spend. And speaking of money, I think that comes into play quite a bit in this next book. This next one is called Maddie's Fridge. In this story, Sophia and Maddie are best friends. They live together in the same neighborhood, they go to the same school, and they love to spend time together. One day, Sophia goes over to Maddie's house and she's so hungry and she really wants a snack. When she opens the refrigerator, she realizes it's empty. And Maddie explains that her family doesn't always have enough money for food. And she makes Sophia promise not to tell anyone. And Sophia promises her best friend that she won't say a word. But this is weighing on Sophia. She knows that Maddie needs help, but she doesn't know what to do. So every night when her mom makes food for dinner, she sneaks a little bit in her backpack to give to Maddie to help her friend out. But she soon realizes that fish is not really a great food to put in a backpack, and eggs aren't really a good food to put in a backpack. And even though she's trying so hard to help out her friend, it's not going how she had planned. Sophia eventually tells her mother, and her mother and Maddie's mom are so glad that the truth came out, and Sophia's family helps out Maddie's family by delivering some groceries to her. And again, this is another great story to talk about how we can help each other out, how we can give back to those that have less than us. This next book caught my eye because it takes place in my state of Rhode Island, and this one is called Blizzard, and it's about the big snowstorm that hit our state before I was born. We still get big snowstorms, but not as big as this one. In this story, a huge snowstorm hits, and the young boy, who is actually the author of the book, is so excited about this snowstorm. He's so excited to see the snow falling. He's gonna go outside and play in it, but the snow just keeps on falling until they're almost kind of trapped in their houses. And 3-4 days start to go by, and his family starts to need some things from the store. They're all going a little stir crazy. So the boy decides that he's going to help out. So he thinks about what his family needs from the store, but along the way to the store, as he's walking, he stops at all of his neighbors' houses and asks them what they need. What can I pick you up from the store? I'm on my way. And each one of his neighbors gives him something that they need from the store, and he delivers them all. And it's a wonderful story about checking in with your neighbors, with your community, with your friends to see what they need help with. Whether it's something from the store or help in their yard, help shoveling their driveway. A good lesson for students to talk about how we should check in with our friends and see how they're doing. See if they're having a good day or a bad day. See if there's anything that we can do to help each other out. And the next book that I have is called Those Shoes. In this story, a young boy really wants those shoes, the shoes that everybody's wearing, the popular shoes of that year, but they're way too expensive, and his grandma explains that they can't afford them. She talks about the difference between needs and wants and how we really need to focus on the needs before we can get to the things that we want. But he is determined to get these shoes, and he finally sees them in a thrift shop. He brings his grandma in. They can afford to get them, but they're too small. But he says they fit anyway, and they buy them, and he tries to squeeze his feet into them, and it just doesn't fit. He ends up putting them in his closet, and one day his friend comes over whose shoes are more worn out than his are. He puts them on, and they fit, and he's so excited, and he thinks they're so neat. Well, the young boy in the story decides to gift them to his friend anonymously so that his friend can have a special pair of shoes. Another great book about giving back and helping others. And in the spirit of giving back, I want to give back to some of the amazing teachers in this community, just like you. So, what I would love for you to do is in the comments below, tell me which one of these books you want to add to your classroom library. I'm going to pick a winner for each one of these books and send you that book. So leave a comment below and I will pick one winner for each book on December 10th, 2022. So again, leave a comment with which one of these books you would like to add to your classroom library. And then make sure you stay tuned for next week because I am starting a little mini series all about books for the different winter holidays. So we're going to be talking about Hanukkah, Christmas, and Kwanzaa so far, and all different books that you can read aloud with your class to celebrate each of those different holidays. Have a great week.